This past week, Eric from the News Coolum YouTube channel informed me that the CEO of Pilot Corp was being interviewed on CNBC's Squawk Box. It was a very informative interview. The first half of the interview was basically talking about trends in the economy and how Pilot Corp can track that to some extent because they support long haul truckers and freight. They can basically see the activity associated in the freight industry, and that gives an indication on the health of the economy. In the second half of the interview, they go into EV charging and the initiatives going on at Pilot Corp. Pretty informative. The CEO, Mr. Wright, talks about the difficulty that they're experiencing with pricing. He doesn't really go into the details, but he mentions that as a difficulty. So that is interesting. He also talked about the difficulty of getting utility power to the locations. That was taking longer than they had anticipated at many locations. And that might indicate why they haven't opened as many as we had expected. But there's a few other things to talk about there. The video is very interesting, and I'm going to link it down below in the description. Recommend if you're a enthusiast of this project, as I am, or an EV enthusiast. I'm a General Motors customer, so this has my eye in particular just because of the partnership with General Motors. But just as an EV enthusiast, having the whole gas station experience and being in the C-store industry, as in a quasi, it looks like we're going into a ubiquitous experience with C-stores. There's so many C-stores out there that are doing EV fast charger builds. So being able to see a giant like Pilot doing builds with canopies like this is very exciting. At least to me it is. Okay, let's get into the update. Pilot Corp operates travel centers throughout the United States immediately off interstate exits, making them very convenient for people who are doing road tripping. That's where their target audience is. They are famous for their clean restrooms. They do have free Wi-Fi. They always have food, either a sit-down restaurant or fast food, and they also have quick service. The important thing, in my opinion, is that they never close. They're open 24/7, 365. In fact, they're doing a build of refreshing the facilities called New Horizons, where they're dumping $1 billion into modernizations. But at those locations where they're doing the modernizations, they're still open. So they never close. These things are always open, which is just terrific. I really like that. If you're a GM owner, you'll be extended benefits of discounted charging rates at these locations. You'll be able to do en route reservations. We're still waiting for the specifics surrounding this. And Auto Charge Plus, but that's not exclusive to GM customers, which is different than the ISO 15118 plug-in charge. It's native to EVgo. It's called Auto Charge Plus. What to expect in 2024, we should probably see a doubling of the rate. And they've only been opening about one station per week. And they need to be at about 5 stations per week. Now, I'll get to it in a little bit, but we've got 30 sites spotted under construction. I was busy at work this past week, and I was traveling on business, and a couple of things going on with the family, so I kind of lost sight. And I came home this week and I did the tally, and we are at 30 sites spotted under construction. And for a CPO who just started operations in October of last year, having 30 sites spotted under construction, 36 sites open, in my opinion, is significant. The Adam Wright interview will be linked down below in the description, and this is a wholly owned company by Berkshire Hathaway, the $170 billion conglomerate by Warren Buffett. These are the open locations, and I'm not sure why the Kenly, North Carolina is not showing up here, but Kenly, North Carolina and Mount Sterling, Kentucky are the two that opened up since the last time I did one of these updates, and this is what their map looks like. Spotted under construction, you'll see, looks pretty similar to the open site, concentration in the Midwest and Texas, and the Great Plains kind of skip. There's not a lot of Pilot locations in the Great Plains. Some of the new locations spotted under construction, if you look, the state of Indiana now has 3. It was just, 1 last time. The state of Ohio, we had Hubbard, Ohio, but we now have 4 additional ones spotted under construction in the state of Ohio. Zero E, Michigan spotted Lansing. I did mention that on my last update. There is a new one in Pennsylvania spotted. I didn't even know about this one being on the build list, but someone chimed into LinkedIn as this site being under construction, so I added it to PlugShare and uploaded the pictures. Winchester, Virginia is a site that I stopped at about a year ago. There was no sign of construction, but it is now under construction. And Lordsburg, New Mexico, and we have perforated the state of California, so they're on the build list as well. As I mentioned, 34 weeks left in the year. There's 164 left to open. That's about 5 per week. They've been opening about 1 per week. Now, there's 30 sites spotted under construction. What's been happening, there's just been this buildup of sites spotted under construction. And towards the beginning of the year, there wasn't much going on. So I'm thinking that it was just not construction season because of the cold weather. And now that the weather has moderated and then we're into summertime, there's a lot more construction going on. At least that's what it feels like. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what's going on. This map here from EVgo is similar to this map, and that's why that's there. It's just to show the representation. The pin dots all line up. There's a couple more extra pin dot drops on the EVgo map, so I guess they're a little bit more ambitious. This is the one from Pilot Flying J saying what they intend to complete building by the end of 2024. GM is also still heavily invested in installing DC fast chargers, and they put this in their earnings report that 30,000 public DC fast chargers by the end of 2024 with both EVgo and Pilot combined. So the EVgo native and the Pilot Flying J combined, 30,000 public DC fast charging by the end of 2024. The percent complete has increased. We're now at 7.2%. They say they're going to do 500 locations. We've got 36 open. The 2 new ones, the way this works is this is north to south, and anything new I highlight. As I mentioned, Mount Sterling, Kentucky is on Interstate 64 in coal country, which is eastern Kentucky. Not a lot of EV charging there. This is I-64 goes into West Virginia, which is really in dire need of electric vehicle charging. It's a difficult place to drive an electric car. Kinley, North Carolina is the first one that has a CHAdeMO connector. I was there. I was very excited. Recorded a video, posted it to YouTube. It's 56 cents per kilowatt hour, directly off Interstate 95, and also the first location with 6 stalls. Nothing else really to report in the other time zones. But spotted under construction, as I said, we are now up to 30 sites spotted under construction. And let's go to the new ones since the last update. Beaver Dam, Ohio, Smithton, Pennsylvania, Millersport, Ohio on Interstate 70, Jeffersonville, Ohio on Interstate 71, Lebanon, Indiana on I-65, and I note here it's not 100% confirmed that is EV charging, but it very likely is. And Winchester, Virginia. I just spotted that one today. In the central time zone, new spotted under construction is Benton, Arkansas, and Von Ormy, Texas, which is just south of San Antonio. NEVI funding has not really changed. A couple of these have been taken off the list because they've been moved into the under construction. These are all locations that Pilot Corp has been awarded NEVI funding for. Anytime they've been awarded NEVI funding, they've taken the money. It seems to make sense. And their builds are done in a few different form factors. One is called Type A, which is a pull-in with a rectangle canopy. Type B, I'm not sure what that is. I haven't really got confirmation on that. Type C, which is pretty darn popular, is a 40 by 40 foot square canopy with pull-through. This is what Kinley, North Carolina off 95 has. So if you want to see what this looks like, you could look at the video, which I'll link down below in the description, where I did a site visit video of it. There's also diamond shapes, depending on the drive lines. They can go in one of 2 directions, and those are Type D and Type E. And then there's the Type EX, which is an extension of the gas canopy. I'm going to go ahead and roll the slide deck of the canopy locations, both open and under construction. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching.